to you live from the Republic Broadcasting Network, where you can handle the truth. You can call in and ask a question at 800-313-9443 or listen at 605-313-0163. Good evening from Boston, Massachusetts. My name is Frank Allen. Tonight, we discuss targeted individuals and remote neural monitoring. Our newsletter is free, and you can receive a copy every Sunday by writing Frank at targetedmassachusetts.org. In the subject line, type newsletter, or you can visit our site at targetedmassachusetts.org. And in the navigation, go to contact information. Please fill in your name, email address, cell number, and a short message. Or you can call me in the U.S. at 1-508-857-8334. Targeted Massachusetts Northeast Conference airs Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern. By phone, 515-604-9715. Access code 708922. ID targeted. If you'd like to join us by computer, in your address bar, type freeconferencecall.com/wall/targeted. Our YouTube channel is Targeted Massachusetts. Targeted Justice is hosting a rally and protest event in our nation's capital, taking place October the 18th through the 22nd. Registration fee is $35 and includes a free t-shirt. We encourage you to request a 5-minute audience with your congressman. You will need to make a request several weeks in advance. Make the request through your congressman's website and ask for an appointment on October the 21st or the 22nd. Any further information that you need, you can find at targetedjustice.com. At the top of the page, look for Targeted Protest 2019. Click or tick on that if you're from across the pond, and you will find all the information that you will need. Okay, tonight we are discussing one of the most deadly things to happen to a TI, and that is remote neural monitoring. How many times have you sat around and you thought of things that you never wanted to share with anyone, and being constantly worried at the thought of someone ever finding out about these thoughts? Well, if you have remote neural monitoring, like myself, you don't have to worry about it, because there are at least 2 other people that know. All of us have been through this process, and the new and improved technologies being developed around the world, supposedly to deal with crime and terrorism, and inadvertently intrude on one's privacy should probably bring us all to the brink of paranoia. These technologies are funded by governments at the highest level, and some of the countries involved include the USA, UK, Spain, Germany, and France. Similar systems are being developed in Russia and China. This is something that must be stopped because it is designed to send a TI to his or her death through suicide. Now, I hope the government is listening in tonight because they are going to get it. We are tired of this bullshit, okay? This attacks us 24 hours a day. 24 hours a day. And for that 24 hours a day, we hear some of the rudest, most vulgar conversations from these things that you could ever imagine. Quite recently, the infamous National Security Agency of the USA has developed a very efficient method of controlling the human brain. The technology is called remote neural monitoring, or RNM, as we in the community call it. And this is expected to revolutionize crime detection and investigation. Well, guess what? Have you heard of any criminals being brought to justice by something called remote neural monitoring? Well, I haven't. So they've wasted a lot of money. But they've turned this deadly game on the public. Any one of you could be next. All you have to do is be in the wrong place at the right time. And you'll be a member of the community. And unfortunately, this is not something that I would call fun. Imagine two uninvited guests hovering around your home, following you to the bathroom, telling you what to do in the bathroom, they think. Telling you what to do in the shower, or the living room, or your bedroom. It's just the beginning. They comment on every facet of your life. RNM works remotely. Now you have to ask yourself, why have we all been driven relentlessly towards wireless systems? Answer: to control the brain under the objective to detect any criminal thought taking place. Yeah, good luck with that. Okay, we have a caller. Catherine from Georgia. Go ahead, Catherine.
Hi, yes, Frank. Hey, in my day, I was reprimanded severely by several members, colonel, sergeant, and beyond that, because I had stumbled into something in other countries that if you are a political criminal, there's only so much that they can do to you. So rather than hold you for so long, because that they just don't have the ability to do that, in the 80s it was known that this torture to murder, what's happening to us, it has been going on in other countries. And they'd labeled people as political criminals, and they would let them go home. Has anybody in this community thought that this is probably what we're labeled as too? And that's how they're able to bring in other people from other countries to work on this technology in our country. So we do not have the same person at all times doing this to us. They constantly move them around. But yes, it is torture to murder. I'd known that in the 80s. And that's what they called it in other countries, but they were only supposed to do it to you if you were a criminal, political criminal.
Correct. I'm currently dealing with a gentleman from Bulgaria, and I'm not going to mention his name.
Okay.
He is in really deep trouble with the political realm of Bulgaria. And that's all I'm going to say about him, but it wraps around exactly what you're talking about, and you are absolutely correct.
Okay, well now, I'm aware that the government, they have known about this from different countries. Well, then that means our presidents have known about it. Well, then our presidents were supposed to stop this in 1977. Why has not anyone done anything to help? But they are familiar that we are not crazy. There's a particular, thing that you do when you are crazy. But we seem to all, those of us who are aware that this is politically criminal, that they've labeled us, and that we are aware of certain things like that, they're doing more torture too.
Well, fortunately for us, things are moving in our direction, and they have been for the last couple years. But quite recently, Edward Snowden, when I say quite recently, I mean yesterday, came out and said that basically he's going to tell all, and we are part of that all. And quite recently, they found the government watch list unconstitutional. That is in our favor.
Okay, well, whenever any of us targeted individuals from the U.S. were to go to another country, if we already are listed as political criminal in another country, does it not make sense that we're going to be followed? Our money's going to be, everything like that, going to another country. So there's only so much that we are allowed to do. There's only so much somebody's going to listen to us. That's why someone stole all my private information.
Okay, what we need to do, if for some reason things don't go the way we want them to, we go to The Hague in the Netherlands, the International Court, the World Court, I have all the forms that you need to fill out. And if you'd like to have them, they are on our website. But I don't think we're going to need to do that because everything is starting to bloom in our favor.
Okay.
So don't
why has there not been one of your other guests, a U.S. guest, who's yet mentioned what I said about political criminal that we could be listed as? Because I believe I've been listed as one.
Well, that's quite possible. But as I've said, this watch list has been deemed unconstitutional. So they are watching the CIA very carefully. They are watching everyone very carefully. So this is something that, unfortunately, you're going to have to wait for a time. But I will tell you this, it's rolling faster than you can imagine.
Okay, well, you yourself will be able to research more of this on the line, right, to what I said?
Yes, I can.
Okay, because when I was reprimanded, I said this. I was told this does not concern you. You don't need to worry about that unless you're a political criminal. But that is exactly what's happening and has been happening to me since 1995.
Okay. Well, the best thing we can do right now is to get the word out. And I'm speaking tonight about remote neuromonitoring, and this is the big one that's on a lot of TIs.
Well, it's happening to me all the time. It is god-awful.
It is. It's terrible. Just call anytime, Catherine. Just pick up the phone, call my number. I'll be there.
Thank you. I respect you.
All right. Have a good night.
You
God
too.
bless. Okay, to get back to the premise that they are using this to hunt down criminals. Come on. The inevitable question, how can you isolate a criminal thought if you do not have a comparative measure of non-criminal thoughts from an individual? It takes a long time to study someone. It takes a long time to analyze someone. You can profile someone right down to a T just about. But they have to have this BS. But it's a front. Okay. We have to go to commercial call. Thank you.
Don't believe the church and state and everything they tell you. Believe in me, I'm with the high command. Can you hear me?
As a listener of RBN, you're surely concerned about being informed and being ready for whatever may come. Please consider the following questionnaire as a soul-jarring wake-up call. If you answer no to more than 2 of these following questions, you probably aren't going to make it through any major disruption in our country. The questions were compiled by people that have been there. Are you really ready? Do you own your own firearm for the primary defense and protection of you and your loved ones? Have you ever been professionally trained to stand against life-threatening behavior? Have you ever practiced enough to fire 500 rounds during a 2 to 4 day time frame, day and night? Can you load, unload, fire, and clear a jam in total darkness? Have all the adults in your household been professionally trained? Are you, life and death, comfortable with your abilities with pistol, revolver, shotgun, and rifle? Are you aware that everything that you do to prepare for an emergency is a waste of time, money, and energy? if you haven't honed your abilities to their highest level to protect and keep what you have? Do you have the repair parts that will most likely be needed for each of your firearm, and do you have the ability to install those parts? Could you completely clean every firearm you own? Are you aware that your body won't go where your mind hasn't been? In other words, without proper training, followed by regular practice, you probably will not win a gunfight. Well, how did you measure up? Take the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to start correcting your deficiencies by receiving your Commander Lifetime Membership with Front Sight Firearms Training Facility. A one-time donation to RBN for $500 will give you a Commander Lifetime Membership at Front Sight as a tremendously huge thank you bonus. See details on RBN's webpage to make it happen. The clock is ticking. You had better be ready before it happens.
Many people write us about their experience with Extendivite. Allow me to read you some from Amazon.com. It really does work like the review says it does. I cannot believe that after the first few days, I didn't feel as sluggish or clogged up. It has had a profound impact on my physical, emotional well-being. I'm skeptical as most people about products and their claims, and I never write reviews, but this is a wonderful product and I recommend it to everyone. Great product. It has brought my blood pressure from the mid-150s over the 80s to the mid-130s over mid-80s, along with diet and exercise in just the past couple of months. Excellent. Thank you, David. Tell us your story. Get Extendivite today. Call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
Once again, we are coming to you live from the Public Broadcasting Network, where you can handle the truth. Good evening from Boston, Massachusetts. My name is Frank Allen. Tonight, we discuss targeted individuals and remote neural monitoring. But right now, we have two guests. Chris from Las Vegas, and Kevin Smith, I believe, if he's the same guy, he's from L.A. So, Chris, go ahead.
Well, thank you so much, and I appreciate Kevin letting me lead through. I have been filtering through the critical reading with open eyes, a spirit of discernment, and the ability to be somewhat adept at reading between the lines and noting particularity the small case dangerous word terms that are understated, giving you a, let's call it a red flag to be very wary of the things that are in small case versus the ones that are in bold, in legal writings, if you will. And in the Al-Nasa, El-Hadi, versus Charles II Cabell, K-A-B-L-E, I think it is, or maybe B-E-L, as the director of the Terror Screening Center, in that case that you're talking about, where they have found the watch list, the Terror Screening Database, as it's formally called, loosely termed the watch list because it can incorporate either the no-fly list or a 187 hit list, as myself was listed as HOT, H-O-T, meaning 187 kill list, 10, meaning I'm armed and dangerous, supposedly, TW, terror watch, and 8, meaning I'm pretextually, hypothetically, so-called suicidal, although there's no basis for this unsubstantiated hearsay, false labeling, putting me in harm's way and nearly costing me my life twice by
Chris,
two egregious... Yes.
That's given to the police, that information.
It came from the police's screen. They have what they call a Metro computer terminal inside their car. I was sitting handcuffed in the back seat on June the 8th of 2018 when I first party competent and observed it on the screen in big red letters as opposed to the core of probably 3/8 to half-inch letters on the normal text in black on the screen. That's what caught my eye when they were scrolling quickly past it, and I was straining to get them to slow down enough so that I could see what was on the screen because I knew it gravely impacted me.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'd like to see some information on myself. How did you find this information out?
Well, one, I read through the Holder versus, I can't think of the other name on that case, and this one that you were just talking about where they found that against 23 different so-called American citizens, I think military, some of them were from other countries that had been born here or brought here and become naturalized citizens. And what I found to be extremely troubling is this information that anybody that puts you, there are about 16 different subjective interpretive so-called parameters they can list you in, criteria they like to call it. Although it may be unsubstantiated hearsay, it might be somebody that's vindictive and hostile working in a NGO, non-governmental agency, or a police department, or maybe a zoning office where they're really not elected officials or bound by any oaths and work privately as private profits corporations. Most of the police are the same way. The agencies of government under the executive office are the same way. They're private profit corporations, agencies listed on Dun & Bradstreet and Manta.com. So they have a financial vested interest in carrying out their so-called duties, and if they can investigate terrorists 24/7, 365, or anybody they can paint as a terrorist, whether there's any basis for it or not. In fact, if they can paint someone that's innocent as a terrorist, and they can investigate them, so-called, under the pretext, and earn egregious unjust enrichment, therefore stealing money from the American people, theft by deception of the American people's money, under the guise and ruse of investigating terrorists.
Exactly. Yep, they put up a false flag,
very dangerous.
The real flag is us.
Oh, absolutely. And the last thing I will say before I let your other guests come through, if you'll be so kind, is that they share this information not only instantaneously with their local entities in counties, states, banks, medical places, psychiatric places, hospitals. Oh, I hear the music. I'll finish up right after that break.
Okay, Chris and Kevin, you hang in there. Okay, folks, we're going to commercial. Thank you so much for it.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
I'm getting older and noticing that my body just doesn't work as well as it used to. So I like to keep fit as possible by hitting the gym a few times a week. Recently, I started having a nagging bicep pain, and it got so bad I couldn't even lift the weights. When I was complaining about it to a friend, he told me about Angioprim. He said chelation helps remove toxins, heavy metals, and cholesterol in veins and arteries that may cause blockages. You know, after just 1 week of taking Angioprim, the pain was gone, and now I'm back in the gym full strength. Scientific research proves the active ingredient in Angioprim has superior oral chelation action that helps promote cardiovascular health. So to learn more, go to angioprim.com. That's ANGIOPRIM.com, or talk to a trained consultant. Call Angioprim toll free at 877-882-7221. You'll feel better with more energy. Call 877-882-7221 or go to the website angioprim.com.
Many people tell us about their experience with Extendivite. Just listen to what Glenn has to say.
Prior to taking it, I had diabetic neuropathy. The Extendivite reduced that significantly. Acid reflux was reduced. I had athlete's foot, very severe. Trimmed that down to about 75%. Dandruff, almost completely gone. I had occipital neuralgia at the base of my skull. I was having migraines, reduced by about 90%. Heart palpitations, my heart would kind of stall out. I would skip a beat. Very uncomfortable. And when walking from downstairs going to sleep, by the time I got to the bedroom, which is just one flight of stairs, my heart was pounding, coming out of my chest. My vision was blurry. This completely solved that problem. Great product. Thanks.
Tell us your story. Get Extendivite today. Call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Republic Broadcasting Network depends on listener support of our advertisers and of our sponsors. We'd like to especially thank all of you who have taken advantage of our fundraiser with FrontSight Bonus. Those who are now FrontSight members, please train as soon as possible for your sake and for that of our nation. And please consider sharing your training and what you've learned when you arrive home. Republic Broadcasting Network has to stop promoting this fundraiser on air and on the website in just a few days. Dr. Ignatius Piazza, president of FrontSight, made a gracious exception to his no media rule for us at Republic Broadcasting Network. Thank you, Dr. Piazza. And once you've been to FrontSight, feel free to call your favorite host and share your experience on the air. We can continue this fundraiser without media help, but it'll be totally up to the listeners to spread the information. Please call Dan Sutterfield in Missouri at 573-465-2356, 573-465-2356. That's 573-465-2356.
Massachusetts. My name is Frank Allen, and tonight we are discussing targeted individuals and remote neural monitoring. But first, we have Chris from Las Vegas, who is just finishing up, and then Kevin from Northern California. Go ahead, Chris.
All right. Thank you so much, Frank. And the people will probably be interested to know this is NAS, A-N-A-S, El-Hadi, E-L-H-A-D-Y, et al. And here is the case number. It's a civil action number 1:16-C Charlie V Victor -375. And that is a federal district court document. It's also under the American, APA, the Administrative Procedures Act. And it also speaks
Chris,
to the case of...
Give me that number
Yes.
one more time, would you please?
Sure. 1:16-C Charlie V Victor, that stands for civil, -375.
Okay, thank you.
The other case is Mohammed, M-O-H-A-M-M-E-D, versus Holder, that's Eric Holder, H-O-L-D-E-R, and you can search that with that online. These are the Mohammed versus Holder, and there was another one called Ibrahim and Latif, Holder versus Latif, L-Y-T-Y-F, or L-A-T-Y-F. These were cases I data mined strategically to find out how to get myself off of the terror watch list. And I may have had some success. I haven't got a written confirmation yet, but someone in the legal community looked me up and said that I was no longer on there in that dangerous capacity that's nearly cost me my life twice because of egregious abuses of mass deadly force, 15 to 20 different units each time, I couldn't tell you how many people, helicopters, sniper rifles, grenade launchers, helicopters. It was quite life-changing events, 2 of them. But with that, I think I'll let Kevin come on because I'm sure he has some wonderful information as probably a targeted individual himself, and I'm anxious to hear what he has to say, and I can either hang in the background or listen in.
Why don't you hang in the background, Chris? Go ahead, Kevin.
Mr. Frank.
Hey, how you doing?
Frank? I'm hanging in there. I'm not going to be long. I'm going to be real brief. But to make a long story short, to answer the lady question earlier that was talking, what it is, you know what I mean, for what I know, and from my knowledge and understanding through experiences, all this about the government, this, that, you know what I'm saying, the ones that's doing this and doing all that, there's not, I don't consider them as, you know what I mean, law-abiding citizens. I don't consider them as FBI agents and federal agents and local cops and all them. It's a line, you know what I mean, that they cross. You know what I'm saying? There's not real cops or real agents or nothing. You know what I mean? They work for, you know what I mean, they ain't nothing but a criminal organization. As far as I know for a fact, I got a FBI agent that I know, that I been knowing for many years. He checked all this for me, ran into all that. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no watch list, no none of that, right? Okay, that's bull. Yes, you know what I mean? So that, okay, now like for the cops, when they pull people over and run your name and all that, they ain't got us on no terrorist list and this and that. What it is just the crooked, like, see, they send them out to us wherever we go, like crooked cops, they know the ones, right? The dirty, crooked ones, and the ones that they, you know what I mean, send at us. And them the ones that participate in all this evil, you know what I mean, bad stuff, that do this shit to us. Bottom line. That's it. That's all. I mean, it's not like all the cops and, you know what I mean, federal agents is bad and, you know what I mean, participate in this. It's nothing like that. Like I say, keep in mind, the ones that do this stuff, they is not considered as cops or, you know what I mean, agents or nothing. They just criminals. They bad people. And they got everything, you know what I'm saying, down packed. You know what I mean? Like, so if they the cops run our names or whatever, ain't nothing going to come up talking about we know tariffs on their computer and this and that. That's a bunch of baloney. You know what I mean? It's only common sense. Okay, but now the ones, if it come up, they got their little codes and alerts or whatever. You know what I mean? Just like when we go to hospitals or whatever, they put all the crooked doctors in place at the hospitals that's going to, you know what I mean, attend to us. You know what I mean? They're not going to give us no good doctor that's going to help us and, you know what I mean, give us a true, real diagnosis. You know what I mean? They're going to give us crooked doctors and crooked nurses to us that work with them. You know what I mean? That's how I go. So that's my opinion, and that's what I know through experience for a fact. So that's all I have to say, and thank you for the opportunity to get a chance to talk. Appreciate it.
Okay, and I'd just like to mention that Kevin is looking for a TI roommate, and he is looking to settle in Wyoming. So if there are any TIs out there from Wyoming who are looking for a roommate, Kevin will contribute $500 towards the room or towards the house, whatever, and I'm sure his share of groceries or whatever, that would have to be worked out. But Kevin's a good guy. I can vouch for him. Okay, Chris, you still there?
Yes, Frank, I am. And just a little bit more for you from this Anas El-Hadi case, this declaration that the terror watch list is per se unconstitutional because it deprives Americans of American due process of law and substantial justice. It also cites the fact that the subjective interpretive criteria they supposedly use is, under the doctrine of void for vagues, not clear and concise on what fact-centric basis they supposedly have nominated the individual to be on the terror watch list.
I see. So, if your name is taken off the terror watch list, can you assume that you'll be unplugged from the system and no longer be targeted?
I don't think that's accurate because of the fact that whenever you're placed on that list, it instantly is placed on databases around the world, globally. Interpol, NCIC. I think there's a new version of NCIC. I recall reading about it, something about the International Criminal Information Database or Information Center. This is a global network of Sovietized, unifying all nations on the planet in the alleged fight against terrorism, which really what we're seeing is the Sovietization of world police force agencies, military agencies, non-governmental entities, and all people who are licensed by government contracts and work under their license as control mechanism, as see something, say something, reporters of information in the global slave state.
I see. I just wanted to add something. If you call Interpol, you are referred to the FBI because Interpol, I guess, is overrun with, I would say, foreign people from Russia, I think.
Influence. Yeah, well, Russia and China and who knows where else, probably some places in the Middle East and maybe even Israel, as the case may be. It's very, very dangerous because you never know in what country you're in. You could pop up on this database. Even if you're erased here in the U.S., will they disseminate the information and have you removed in all databases? Will all databases cooperate with the U.S. removal? Or will you still be subject to introspective examination when going through an airport or other train station, bus station, into a sporting event, into a courthouse, or any other proceeding that you might have where they have access to a terror watch list listing or a no-fly list?
Yeah, it would seem to me that even when you are taken off of the list, it will take quite some time for that to filter out of the system.
Well, there are a myriad of other circumstances that operate on this, and the classification on whether you're a U.S. citizen or the other option on the DSM, the Department of State Manual 11, Immigration and Passport Form of a non-citizen U.S. national, which embodies some aspects of diplomatic, ambassadorial, and consulary immunity within that classification and status of political nature.
I see. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens when this all unravels.
I'll try to keep you and the listeners. Yeah, I'll try to keep you and the listeners up on what I discover on these things, and I'll let you go on because I want to hear even more about your neural targeting. This is really very dangerous stuff. Basically, that's some sort of an implant or receiver transmitter that's been implanted in your brain like a jack in the Matrix or the Matrix. The evil tricks of the demon god Ma, whenever they put some sort of voice-to-skull technology or other means of taking remote control or interjecting others' thoughts into your brain and your auditory receiver system.
Yes. Many people get remote viewing confused with remote neural monitoring. Remote viewing is a group of psychics, we'll say, half a dozen, we'll say. And they are given information, and the information they translate into a location and a building by psychic means, where RNM is actually electronic.
Yes, the astral projection, the remote viewing, as you were talking about, is used by the military as a means of accessing remote intel on so-called enemies or maybe adversaries or maybe somebody they want to find where they got their gold or other treasures hidden, or what their state secrets are that they have a lust to know for, so they're easier to take over and conquer.
Right. All right, we've got another caller now.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Frank. Bye-bye.
All right, Chris. And Kevin, you're still here. What's up?
Yeah, I got knocked off.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but because I didn't hear what you were saying. So you, when I was finishing up, you were saying something, and then, my phone hung up. But he did good. He know what he's talking about. I agree with him. But the only part that I know about, what I know for a fact, because I lived this life and lived that life. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I know. A couple of agents that I've been knowing for like 15 years, and they ain't gonna lie to me or play no games with me. They do not have me on no damn watch list, no terrorist list or nothing. That's what I'm saying. If a person got a criminal enterprise, of course it's not gonna be public. You know what I'm saying? It's some hidden agenda type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, let's go back to what I was saying. And them, they're not considered cops, man, or agents, because they fucking criminals. You know what I mean? However which way you look at it, it don't cut no kind of weight but that. You know what I'm saying? And then for us, you already know, Frank, you know me, I'm on all that, remote monitoring, remote viewing. They got me hooked up to all this. And mine ain't nothing but the criminals and the thugs, though, that's doing this to me. You know what I mean? I'm 100% sure and positive, and they showed it and proved it to me. You know what I mean? And that's all I got to say, basically. And I know what I'm talking about. I know my stuff. And I'm feeling that I'm accurate on what I'm saying about the situation. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I done talked to people. I ain't talking about just calling the federal FBI building and all that and stuff like that. I'm talking about, I know the agents personally. I can call one of them right now on the cell phone as we speak. You know what I'm saying? So I know what I'm talking about. And ain't no cops gonna put nobody over. They do not have us on no watch list. I'm talking about on the legitimate side of it, for us, you know what I mean? The law concerns, like if they, run our names or whatever, ain't no shit gonna pop up talking about they got us on the terrorist watch list. That's a bunch of baloney, man. I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? If something do pop up, you know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna pop up to where the good, good, decent cops gonna see it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying, because it's all this is some serious stuff, man. You know what I mean? Because cops can go to jail, agents can go to jail. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody above the law. You know, so they can go to jail like anybody else and lose their job and everything else. So you got to keep that in mind. You know what I'm saying? I mean, people be hooping and hollering, talking about, they got us on the terrorist list and this and that. It ain't even that. They got us on the criminal fucking. If anything, they got us on the criminal hit list. That's about it. And it's not legally, done legally, and it's not through the good cops and the government like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just all the corrupt people, you know what I'm saying, and criminals, you know what I'm saying, and shit like that. That's all it is, period. However way you look at it. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's all, man.
Yeah, the diplomats kicked the door open. And every week, it seems, something new happens. Now, we have Edward Snowden today announcing that he is going to tell all. And we are part of that all. And he also has a book coming out. So it should be very interesting. If you'd like to read about what he has said so far, you can pick that up in the newsletter that I sent you. And
okay.
Look in your spam folder, but you'll see it's all about Edward Snowden, part of it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm almost definitely read that. And I mean, I'm just saying, all of them is not my opinion, and then what I know, all of them is not, criminals and doing this stuff to us and even know about it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them don't even know about it. But like I said, it's just like you used to always say, Frank, a long time ago, it's always bad apples in a bunch. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? And, they can get dealt with, sooner or later, it's going to come out. But, like I say, though, when they be pulling us TIs over, man, and run our names or whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying? I doubt that very seriously. If anything come up saying we're on the terrorist watch list on the computer, on a police computer, you know what I'm saying? For real, not even a federal computer for that fact.
We have to go to commercial, Kevin. Why don't you go over to the conference call? I'll be over there after the show.
Tired of being lied to by mass media? It's growing more and more apparent today that news is received less and less through standard media outlets. Even with a growing audience every day, RBN is beginning to direct more efforts into social media. Social media and the use of the internet is fast becoming the primary source of people for news, regardless of demographic. RBN has set out to provide some of the best news on the internet through republicbroadcasting.org, and also has begun to use the tools to our advantage by way of social media. Republic Broadcasting is now operating a Facebook page to function as yet another avenue to have our collective voice reach new audiences across not only America, but across the globe as well. The Facebook page features not only news, but also an RBN player to listen to our broadcast. Get involved by visiting facebook.com/Republic Broadcasting and liking our page and share it with your friends and family, because you can handle the truth.
Homeowners, are you in foreclosure, expecting to be served with a foreclosure lawsuit, or suspect your lender has coerced you into an illegal mortgage transaction? A huge number of mortgages made in the last 10 years have legal issues and are possibly defective. State laws and the U.S. Supreme Court have upheld that defective mortgage documents are grounds for foreclosure defense and for counterclaims in favor of the homeowner. If your mortgage has been sold or assigned since closing the loan, it may be defective and you may be paying the wrong party, and the lender may not have standing or the right to foreclose or collect payments under the law. If you would like to know if your mortgage is legal or not, or know if you are paying the right party, we can help. Our initial consultations are free of charge. We are not attorneys. We are legal researchers and work closely with experienced lawyers who know how to help you find the evidence to help you keep your home. Call toll-free 1-855-2-KEEP-IT. That's 1-855-2-KEEP-IT today.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
When your doctor tells you you have bad cholesterol or blockages in the arteries, what do? When diet and exercise is not enough, we try medications and hope for the best. For the last 2 decades, I have been telling people about a natural method to help solve these problems and more. Extendovite can help maintain cardiovascular health and lower blood lipid levels in adults. The 7 herbs in Extendovite are known to work together synergistically to get the results we hope for. There are many testimonials on Extendovite's effect on circulatory-related ailments. Get Extendovite today to start your journey back to a healthier life. To order, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com or see us on amazon.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
We are coming to you live once again from the Republic Broadcasting Network, where you can handle the truth. Good evening from Boston, Massachusetts. My name is Frank Allen. Tonight, we have been discussing targeted individuals and remote neural monitoring. Right now, we have a caller, Ken from New York. And after that, we have Catherine from Georgia. Go ahead, Ken.
Hi, Frank. Have you ever... Yeah, I did send you the information Friday. I sent it in an email, and there are some on eBay, and you can look at it for yourself. The UVB I was talking about. It never occurred to me that it might be useful for more gallons. But,
yes.
About what you're talking about tonight, have you ever, or anybody in your organization, ever made up a questionnaire to find out what time, for example, like this technique that you're talking about, or this problem you're talking about, did it start occurring in a particular year or an area?
Yes.
And I'll give you an example why. For example, if it started occurring around 2005 and 2006, remember we were all told we had to throw our cell phones away and get GSM phones?
Yeah, exactly.
and perhaps it was because of a backdoor. I'm wondering whether these devices, microwave is mostly line of sight. If it's microwave, I'm just saying if, and that seems to be the. I think that's the band that most of this voice-to-skull technology is based on.
Yes.
Well, I'm wondering whether Wi-Fi is a part of it or not. And it may be that most people, they just tend to be hooked on Wi-Fi. I'm not. I use DSL, which is still a hardwired phone line, even though it could be tapped further on. But when I get into my house and I have my routers, everything is hardwired.
Right. That's
so I'm wondering if there's some focal point for all of this stuff. Could be the very phones that most people have become so dependent on.
That's quite possible, because there is actually a carrier frequency, and the frequencies that they use to tap into the brain are ridiculously low, from 0.1 hertz to 0.3 or 3 hertz rather. They're very, very low to be compatible with the brain. And they are after your cerebrum, which is actually 85% of your brain.
So if that sounds like ancient Tesla stuff, things that he was experimenting at Wycliffe on Long Island, where he talked about low frequencies would skip like a stone across the pond. So maybe there are places where somebody, if they set something up... I have to say goodnight. Okay, good night.
Okay, I'd like to thank my listeners. Boston, Massachusetts. My name is Frank Allen.
Homeowners, if your lender has gone out of business or sold your transaction to another lender or servicer, you may be the victim of a wrongful foreclosure resulting in the loss of your home. If you've already lost your home, are in foreclosure, or even in good standing, you can challenge the mortgage transaction's illegal issue and your property can be restored to you, and your foreclosure can be stopped or reversed and the mortgage transaction declared unenforceable. State laws, U.S. title codes, the Uniform Commercial Codes, and U.S. Supreme Court rulings have upheld that defective mortgage documentations can reverse or stop foreclosures and enforce property title claims in favor of the homeowner. We are having successes in stopping the process of foreclosure, the enforcement of the foreclosure judgments, the sale of property, and evictions after the sale. We are not attorneys, and we don't give legal advice. We are a professional team of legal researchers, providing forensic mortgage audits and expert witnesses. We have the knowledge to produce the evidence and enforce laws regarding your legal issues. We've been in business for 12 years without a complaint. Consultations are free, and we provide a free title search to confirm if your mortgage has legal defects. Please call 855-253-3748. 855, the number 2, keep it today.
You're listening to Republic Broadcasting Network, because you can handle the truth.